So, Google Street View has been one of the greatest inventions of the modern era. Since released back in 2007, it has covered roughly 16 million kilometers across over 100 countries across every continent, including Antarctica. You basically have a snapshot of almost the entire world, all can be seen without you even stepping outside. The sheer scale of Google Street View is just mind-boggling. You can view around in this forever. Oh wow, look at that, that's the Burj Khalifa. Yep. Wow, that's definitely a statue. Oh my god, that's what the aliens built, bro. Ew, what the fuck is this? I wonder where in Austria are we? Oh my god, is that my house? Yeah, you get the idea. In fact, Street View is so massive that there's an entire game around it. Almost too massive. Oh dear lord. And so, in this video, we're gonna be looking at some anomalies on Google Street View. There's quite a ton in fact. And yeah, that's enough the intro, let's begin.
Let's go!
Alright, the first entry on this video is this two-legged cat, dubbed Half Cat, that was allegedly found on Google Street View. They say that the reason this cat is two-legged is because of a panorama glitch on Google Street View. They say. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that this image is actually Photoshopped and came from this image that's not even from Google Street View. You can debate whether or not this was really taken on Street View. Honestly, I don't care. Regardless of this being real or not, Street View images where the panoramas got glitched is actually pretty common across Google Street View. So then, why does this happen? To answer that, let's look at how a 360 camera works, which is what Google Street View uses. Duh! So, every 360 camera has at least 2 cameras, and some have field views as much as 180 degrees. And so basically, the 2 cameras capture an image or video at the exact same time, then they would be stitched together into one 360 degree sphere. Pretty cool, right? Heck, in some Street View images, you can even see where the stitching part took place. Now as for why some of the images have anomalies like this, these could either be the stitching together part went wrong, or Google cropping it in post, or the person is moving, or I have no clue what is even going on. And yeah, that's probably the reason these images are like this. I don't know. But what I know is that Half Cat wasn't created because of a panorama glitch. Speaking of cats, if you go to the Largo di Torre Argentina in Rome, which fun fact was the place where Julius Caesar got killed, you'll find this famous cat right here. And this cat has appeared in many is what I said when I began making this video. Let me explain. See, if you go to the Largo di Torre Argentina in Google Maps today, you won't find this cat at all. Seriously. I've looked here and there on Google Maps and I just couldn't find this cat. And that's because this cat, or actually the photosphere of this cat, doesn't exist on Google Maps anymore. It was just removed at some point and we don't know why. So yes, unfortunately, you can't see this cat anymore. Wait, you still can't? Through this link from a YouTube video? Huh. Interesting. So, the cat still exists on Google Maps, but in a weird limbo state. I mean, just look at this. And wait, where's this arrow thing gonna get me to? What? So yeah, if you want to see this cat, the link's gonna be in the description. And so that means this cat technically doesn't exist on Google Maps. But hey, at least we can still see the cat in all of its silliness. And speaking of things that technically doesn't exist, on Google Maps, if you zoom into the Sahara Desert or the west coast of Africa, you'll find an abundant number of these photospheres. Now for the uneducated out there, photospheres are a feature on Google Maps which are similar to regular Street View that they give a 360 panorama, except that you're stuck in place, no moving around. And I know these things are nightmares to geocaching players.
These Google employees are not doing their job!
Anyways, the unique thing about photospheres in these places is that they're not real. Like if you click on one of these, for example this one near Sao Tome and Principe, you won't find a pineapple under the sea, you'll find an optical store instead. Like what the f do the fishes need glasses for? To see? Or maybe this one in the corner of the country, Chad, supposedly in the middle of the desert, which turns out to be a car AC repair shop in Pune, India. Anyways, my point is that these photospheres don't match up with where they're actually located. For example, that AC repair shop we talked about 5 seconds ago, this is where it's actually located, some 5,000 kilometers off. And this one off the coast of Angola, which is almost 8,500 kilometers off. So, what on earth is going on? Now, interestingly, the YouTube channel Geography Now already made a video about these fake photospheres, and in the video, he makes the hypothesis that these photospheres were made for promotional purposes, and these businesses just put the photospheres in the middle of nowhere because it stands out. But I mean, no? Like, I don't think this is an effective way to promote your business, honestly. I mean, just look at who's stumbling onto these photospheres. And hey, who knows, maybe this actually works. But most probably, they just put these photospheres in that shit nowhere because they either mistyped the coordinates or they were just trolling. Probably the latter. In fact, some photospheres aren't even of real places at all. Like this Minecraft map in Tanzania, for example. Like, I'm not even kidding right now. But these ones usually get removed quickly by Google. And yeah, I have nothing else to say about these. So yeah, let's move on. Now, of the 16 million kilometers that Google Street View has covered, the vast majority of it was covered by cars. You know, those cars with a tripod on the roof that you might have seen one time. And when you do see a Google Street View car passing by, do you A, avoid, B, do nothing, or C, get yourself seen and make it funny or something? I think we all know what we're picking. Maybe a salute with the boys, or wear pigeon mats because why not? By the way, why did you blur it, Google? Iconic guy with horse mask eating a banana. Hey, even the animals are onto this shit. However, not everyone might want to be in Google Street View, but unfortunately, getting caught in 4K stealing, getting caught in 4K pissing, meeting the Bing Maps car, meeting the Google Street View car. I'll have two number 9s. Freddy Fazbear.
Guys? Is this Freddy Fazbear?
Getting into beef. Getting into a police chase. Yeah, that actually happened and it's crazy. So it was back in August of 2023 in Indiana, and a Google Street View car was doing, Street View stuff, and for absolutely no reason, the Google driver decided to drive that car like a NASCAR race and drove at a speed of 160 kilometers an hour. Very smart. And of course, this was quickly noticed by some police officers. And soon a police chase ensued that ended with the Google car crashing onto a creek. The driver was then asked, why did you do that? And the guy straight up said, I was scared to stop. He was then given a level 6 felony. Yeah, that just proved that literally anything can happen on Google Street View. And speaking of, that Street View car must have captured it all, but I doubt those images will ever see the light of day. Anyways, so I've mentioned that a lot of Google Street View is taken via good old driving. But of course, sometimes there are some places that you can't just drive a car into, like, I don't know, the British Museum, for example.
Oh, mister, pardon that you kindly take your automobile outside of the museum. Otherwise, I might have to report to the authorities, you understand? So stop laughing, you fucking
But in case of stuff like this, they do have other alternatives. When Google takes captures of places like Machu Picchu, for example, they usually use trekkers, aka people with 360 cameras on their backpack. And there are a lot of places where driving is unavailable, yet we still have Street View coverage. Antarctica, the Gombe National Park in Tanzania, which famously had a whole chimpanzee war in the 70s, long story. Mount Everest Base Camp, the ocean,
How are you?
the f***ing desert, and a whole plethora of museums and buildings. And there are even more places that has driving but almost no Street View. Papua New Guinea, Nauru, North Korea, of course, Venezuela, Cuba, Afghanistan, a lot of African countries, and the biggest of them all, China. But don't worry, they have their own version of Google Street View. Of course they have a version of it. Now, this list of places, unsurprising, we got failed states, USA's enemies, countries that are too poor, etc. But surprisingly, some faraway remote places do have Street View. Pitcairn Island, for example, which is over 2,000 kilometers away from everyone else, has Street View. Tristan da Cunha, 2,400 kilometers away, has Street View. Midway Island, 1,900 kilometers away, has Street View. Even space has Street View. It is insane how much Google has covered in the last 18 years, and it has been a trip. Literally. And with that, thanks for watching this video, and if you want a part 2 or something, just subscribe. I need 1,000 of you guys to do it. And yeah, that's really it. Bye.